whole damn thing that we got going. You hold the strings without me knowing. Why do I have to suffer through the thinking? Why do I have the feeling that we're sinking? I need to find a way. What's all this for? It's got me turned around, but I can't ignore the feelings that I found in this whole damn thing that we got going. You hold the strings without me knowing. Why do I have to suffer through the thinking? Why do I have the feeling that we're sinking? I need to find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way out.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome to another Last Row Racing stream. My name is Sean Templar. As always, I am joined by J.Hub. How are you, my friend?
Hey Sean, a very good evening. I'm okay. I'm really happy at the moment. I see rain. We're in South Africa. 20% chance that we had rain tonight, and it's happening.
I think you mentioned before we started that last week in GT4 it was the same odds and it rained, and you said, "Oh, I hope so badly that it will rain," and there you have it. The rain gods have answered your dance, and it's raining.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one way to put it. Yeah, we are looking at the moment still in free practice for roughly 2 minutes. Well, as we have such a short qualifier coming up, 10 minutes only, and this being a super endurance, well, this can make a lot of work hard for the guys on track at the moment. So,
Yeah, and this one is a really important one because we are in such such a unique position that our championship leader, which was for a very long time Jordi Sanders, but due to some absence, that position has gone to Tommy Schets, and it's going to be pretty crucial for Sanders to actually basically win both races in P1 and then hope that Schets finishes worst, because even if Sanders wins this race, for example, Schets will still be the first one in the standings, and next week we'll have to decide who becomes champion. So
yeah, that's still a crazy idea from my mind, like being so long absent and then still be second in this league. But the big question is, did Jordi Sanders throw in his glasses too early by not showing up anymore? And probably in the end of the evening we have an answer, I would say.
I think so as well, because if you look at there's a pretty big gap between second and third. So like Tommy Schets has 718 points. Jordi Sanders follows by second place with 702. And then the third spot goes to your money man, Chris Downing, but he has 591 points. So it's a pretty big gap.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is almost like Mercedes in Formula One, and then the rest of the teams or follow below that. And even if Jordi Sanders wins this race, because the first place gets 100 points, he would move to 802. If Tommy Schets gets second place, he'd still be in front of him with like, what is it, 10 points or 8 points, something like that.
8 or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9 points. So even then is in his benefit. So like
808, sorry, 808.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And of course this will put tremendous pressure on Jordi Sanders, because I mean this track favors Tommy Schets' car.
Yep.
It could be that Sanders starts to drive more aggressively because
he needs to push.
He needs to push. There's pressure on him.
Yeah.
And rain added into that it can do anything to a driver. So.
Yeah, I've just put on the standings real quick on the screen for the viewers, and it is that close between Tommy Schets and Jordi Sanders, and everything can happen, of course, but still, with the margin of the second and first place only being 10 points tonight, we're going to probably have a very top battle going on for first and second. And also, if one of those two guys make a mistake, well, the season can be decided tonight.
I think it can, yeah. If I quickly look at the chat, also there's people getting excited. I see the Azor van der Velde has brought his entourage again.
Nice to see.
Really weird says, get ready to rumble. Let's go. I think Martijn Breuker has brought his entourage. His dad says, ready for takeoff. Admiral Bushido says, getting closer to the end of the season. Standings are looking crispy.
Yep, so we are just entered qualifier, 10 minutes only tonight, so interesting to see what people are putting in. I was not mistaken in the practice in 146 as quickest.
Yeah, I saw that as well, yeah.
I didn't notice it that well, I had to say, but yeah, of course this being a super endurance, qualifying is not everything, but still a lot due to the first couple of corners in the rain and being able to make a clean sheet on the first corners. So yeah. It's really interesting to see what people can do here tonight. Yeah, we have everybody. Yeah, will follow along during this qualifier.
Yeah, and if we look at the track in a bit, you'll basically see that there's a lot of turns and corners, which only benefits Schets's car, because his car is mostly focused on those corners, and there's only like two spots where Jordi Sanders can maybe make a difference, and that's on the straights.
Yep.
But then he needs to be in striking distance, to put it that way, to get some out of it. Otherwise, if what we've seen in other races, that there's like a big gap in seconds and distance between the number 1 and the 2, then even then that faster car for Sanders might not make a difference.
Yeah, so that's really interesting what you just pointed out there, Sean. The track in these conditions are not the same, of course, as without rain. And the big question is the same car that they're driving in the sunshine performing in the same way as it should be during the rain or not? Or is it completely different on the pace? And that's something that's interesting to me with the Honda of Schets.
Yeah.
Like, how is it performing in the rain, comparison to the Nissan of Sanders?
Yeah, I'm really curious to see. I think we'll start to see the first few results coming in when people put in their laps, and then I also wonder, because this might be like a really interesting race from a strategy point of view,
Yep.
seeing as the drivers can refuel and have mandatory pit stops. Everything is up in the air, and I think we'll see some interesting battles in the midfield, but I think our primary attention will be on the number 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep an eye for those two guys and the fight. And of course, within the first couple of laps in the race, everything could be different if somebody made a mistake or like was involved in an accident or was pushing too hard. So yeah, it's really interesting to see what's going to happen tonight. We're looking at the moment Tommy Schets. He is probably the first one to set a time now. So let's see what his reference time will be for his first lapped round here in Kyalami. So down the hill, last couple of corners. And Sean will probably move down to some track information and localization of the track after qualifying, as it is only 10 minutes. So stay tuned for that part, if you're well aware that we always discuss a little there what happened here in the past. So last corner here for Tommy Schets. Let's see what he can put on the table as a reference time. A 1:46.0. Let's switch real quick to Jordi Sanders, who is just entering the last couple of corners now. So Chad Harry 3.8 behind, 1.6 for Downing behind Tommy Schets at the moment. Jordi Sanders just leaving the last corner into start finish and putting a 1:46.9 on the table. So 9/10 difference there, Sean, on the first lap.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite a big gap, I would say. I'm really already interested into knowing if Tommy Schets put in a lot of practice here for this track, and especially probably in the rain.
Yeah, and I would wonder the same for Sanders as well, because we always used to call him last minute Sanders. I think in this case, he also felt the pressure, so who knows, he might have put in some practice as well.
Yeah, exactly. And seeing Tommy Schets cruising along last week here in GT4, it was like that easy for him. He had such a big gap to the number 2 here.
What kind of car is he driving in GT4?
I think it was the KTM.
Okay.
I think, yeah, it was the KTM, yeah. So he was cruising along roughly 20-25 seconds at least, if it was not more anymore, yeah.
Damn.
Right, so we have Jordi Sanders actually already been put off the throne by Sivokas here in second with roughly almost the same pace as Jordi Sanders, but just 3,000 quicker than Jordi Sanders. So interesting to see what they can do here tonight.
Yeah, I think I saw Jordi Sanders' car spin there for a bit, but
yeah, he transferred back to pit. So Jamie Ellis 5th, Bruilands, interesting, 4th. Downing 5th now, Bruilands and Jamie Ellis back down 6th. Oh, for Martijn Breuker.
That's what I always like about the rain. It mixes up the whole game, and people that might normally be at the back suddenly get a chance to be either in the midfield or at the front.
Exactly, yeah. So the setup is less important. Of course, it is still important, but less important than in the dry races. Because this is all about traction, grip, and acceleration in the rain. Alright, let's see. Ace van Velde, 8th, 9th place at the moment and not improving, so he's on his outlap. Martijn Breuker, 8th position, 4/10 improving at the moment. We have Christophe Bruiglands as well, 2/10 up. He is in the middle sector. So Martijn Breuker is just turning into the fast right-hander here. Upwards hill for a very tight left-hander here. So 4/10 up still. Bruilands as well, 4/10 up. He is just behind Martijn Breuker, so we'll focus on him for the moment.
If you look already, the gap between Schets and the number 2 is already a second.
Yep, Schets is pushing. Ooh, a little slide there on that corner. Losing some time, yes he does. 2/10 down now. So let's see if he can do something in the last corner. Probably not enough to put him in a higher region. That doesn't look like it. Bruilands on the other hand, 5/10 up. Coming up on the last corner here. 6/10. Let's see if he can put off Jordi Sanders. And he does. He's into second place there, Sean. Christophe Bruilands.
I think this is going to be a really interesting one.
Yep. So Sifocas is still on track in his lap time. 3/10 up at the moment. So still a long way to go though. Let's follow on along with Thomas Sifocas here. Unfortunately not improving at the moment. So Jordi Sanders just behind Sifocas, 2/10 up at the moment. See Emil Madsen there in behind, struggling a little in that corner. So 2/10 up here, down the hill for the last couple of corners. Correction, up the hill still, and then downhill of course. 1/10 up, Jordi Sanders is already downhill, let's focus on him first. He's only 1/10 up on his fastest time. So winning a lot in this corner at the moment, 4/10. He needs 1.5 to make Tommy Schets' hardest difficult at the moment. But that's not something that's going to happen this lap. So we have 45 seconds to go, so we can push out one more lap after this one. 6/10 up, 5/10, and he is moving back into the top regions, but definitely not first. Into second position, 1 second plus behind Tommy Schets at the moment. So the rest still not improving. Ace and Okalainen 2/10 up, 7th spot at the moment.
I wonder if he would have gotten like 5th or 6th, if it wouldn't have caused frustration and it affected the drive as well.
Yeah. So of course, yeah, nothing has been said with this qualifier. Only a minor advantage in this long race tonight. 5/10 up, and he needs 1.7 of course. So. He will be sliding into P3 at the moment. Esa Nokalainen. So Jordi Sanders still second, pushing out his last lap. 1/10 up. Thomas Sifocas as well, 4/10 up. So these are the last cars putting in quicker times at the moment. Let's see if he's not destroying his lap time here in that little curve that he took. Only 1/10 up. Christophe Bruilands still improving, 2/10. So Thomas Sifocas not increasing anymore. Where is he? There he is. Oh, and sliding and spinning, so losing the time that he had there. Jordi Sanders 1/10 up. On the same pace now, last couple of corners. And I think we got a 1, 2, and 3 definite now, Sean. We
It
definitely,
looks like it. I'm
we
just looking
definitely
at
do. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just looking at his timing, but he's not going to be able to improve on that one, I think.
Nope. So we have Tommy Schets starting from the first grid position. Jordi Sanders next to him on the right side. Asa Nokelainen in third. Kevin Bruilands surprisingly well fourth tonight. Daniel Robson in fifth position. Thomas Sivokas sixth. Chris Downing seventh. Ellis 8, Baldinger 9, Paluca 10, Full Daisy 11, Van der Velde, Asa van der Velde, the one that performed rather good in Barcelona. Right, we have some time, Sean. 4 minutes and 50 seconds still. Let's have a look where we at the moment, and have some track information. So we are in South Africa, in the northern part of South Africa. We are actually in just above Johannesburg. Probably not been there, Sean.
No, have you been there?
I have been there actually. Not at
Oh,
the track,
really?
but in Johannesburg I have been in that region, Pretoria and
How was
Johannesburg.
it?
Well, I was there in the summer period of South Africa, so the winter period here, and it was roughly 35 degrees there every day.
Oh, sounds good.
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely. So the northern side of Johannesburg, and if we have a look at the track layout, Sean, we have a couple of steep corners and a couple of quick corners. So let's take us through. After start finish, we enter the kink. That's a really short right-hander, really not being called a corner in my opinion. Into Crowthorne. That's a full throttle down into first gear for a left-hander. Then we have the Jux Skoy sweep, if I pronounce it right, into the barbecue. I like that corner already. Into the first right-hander into Sunset, into a left tight left-hander, second gear mostly, into Clubhouse, to the SS, into the League Hub, into the mine shafts, and then the one of the hardest corners, in my opinion, the Crocodiles, into the Cheetah and the Inkway, if I pronounce that one right, into start finish. So Sean, what can you tell us about the track that we're racing tonight?
So I mentioned before that I think like if we look at the layout, the only parts where Sanders' car might actually give an advantage is when he comes out of turn 5 and when he comes out of turn 16 or right on the start finish, because those are like the straights and he might get an advantage with his car's speed. But besides that, it looks to be like an advantage for the Honda. As for the track is of course called Kyalami, and it was built in 1961. The current setup they're using is 4.5 kilometers or 2.6 miles, and the fastest lap was I have a GT3 one for the change,
Ooh.
which was which was in 2020, so last year during the Intercontinental GT Challenge,
Yeah.
which was set in by Matt Campbell, who is I think from Australia or New Zealand, not sure, and he drove a Porsche 911 GT3, and he drove a 1:42.021.
Okay, and that's of course in a race condition. So
Yeah.
interesting to see what's
Yeah.
happening tonight in the race, because I know people are putting in 139s here, which is really ridiculous, but it is happening in sim racing.
Yeah, so for the Formula One comparison, the fastest lap in the previous setup was a 1:17.578, and it was done by Nigel Mansell in the Williams FW14 in 1992.
Yeah, and that's of course quite a few years back already. I know people are hearing rumors about Formula One returning to this track, and I can only say let's go for it. But
I think with the current car, it could be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Kimberly van Dijk saying in chat, let's go Van der Velde. Well, Team Van der Velde is teaming up tonight again.
It was a shame what happened last time, because I was really hoping for Van der Velde to do it, but he had to disconnect, which caused him, of course, to lose the lead in the race.
Yep. Sean, we have 1 minute left, less than 1 minute. Let's switch real quick to the trailer for next season, GT3, and then we'll be back shortly. Alrighty, so that is for next season. Of course, we have 2 races to go in this season to see a winner coming out. Just in time for the formation lap, the warm-up lap. I think there were still spots available in some leagues that we have next season. As you saw in the trailer, we have less races in this next season we're having, but we have more different seasons of different kind of competitions. So we have in GT4 British GT, and we have a Super Endurance League as well next to it. So we have more different type of races instead of one long season. So this is race number 15, and then next week, in 2 weeks time, we have the final race in Nürburgring for the finalization of this league and crowning the winner for the league itself. Sean, predictions for tonight, the hard needed predictions. What would you say?
Oof. I think Tommy Schetz is gonna win this one. And I think
that's a hard one to say.
Yeah. And I think there's, I don't know, I don't hope, but I think Jordi Sanders is gonna something's gonna happen, and he's gonna lose control because he might be a little bit too aggressive on the car, and it's gonna cause him to lose some spots. I hope he can keep his cool and keep his head down and focus, but I'm not driving the car, and I can feel the pressure.
And what's your number 3 for tonight then? To close it down.
Oh, I think Chris Downing.
Downing? Ooh, money Downing. That's so good. And for all the fans in chat, Ace van der Velde, what will he be ending up into as he's starting from P12? I know he drove some quite decent races last couple of races, unfortunately due to the disconnect last race, of course.
Yeah.
So above P10, or what would you say for Acer?
I think he can make it above P10.
Nice, interesting. People in chat, leave a comment what your prediction is for the P1, 2 and 3. We are interesting to see what you guys think. And
I think Azor's fan club will say Azor P1.
Well, yeah, I would be keeping it a little more realistic at the moment with what I have seen tonight. So just a couple of corners to go, and we'll be racing 90 minutes here in Kyalami. So I see Jordi Sanders put already the gold livery on his car, so he's trying to be victorious already there.
I was just thinking, wouldn't it be crazy if he suddenly just sped up and he got a drive-through as soon as the race started?
See already Enzo Benvenuti in pit there, Sean.
Uh-oh.
That's not good. So he's trying to deviate from all the fuck-ups that's probably going to happen in the first couple of corners.
Well, it's pretty smart.
I know, I did it last week, not intentionally, but it helped out really nicely for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are almost on green light. We have a wet track still, but no rain, so track will dry up in X amount of minutes, and then we'll be seeing what the strategy will bring those guys. We have a green light, and we are on the way. All right, let's see what's going to happen in the first couple of corners.
Oh, they're already touching bumpers.
Yep, they're fighting. Let's see the inside line. Giving enough space to each other. Yep, it looks clean. In the back as well, everybody through that first corner combination. Ooh, Bruiland's already pushing there on the inside. Taking Sanders into P3 at the moment. So Tommy Schetz taking the lead now, followed by Kevin Bruiland and Jordi Sanders, and being chased down by Thomas Sivokas.
Uh-oh. In these moments, I wish we had like team radio, so we could just listen to the driver.
Yeah, just listening, right? Ooh, is the Downing slippery and sliding behind there? Bruiland as well, taking the lead towards Tommy Schetz and creating that gap towards Jordi Sanders. Interesting to see already what's happening. So Ace and Nokelainen trying to catch up to the group. Chris Downing fighting on the inside line there. And as well, ooh, a little slide. Whoa, he took him out. Oh, he took him out. That was Jamie Ellis with Chris there.
Well, there goes the P3.
There goes the P3. Yep. So
Oh man.
Chris Downing all the way to the back of the field. Let's switch back to... Oh, in the back there also a slide. I don't know who it was. I think Hogeveen. Or Eddie Oosterbrugge. It was Eddie Oosterbrugge. And there we have Enzo Benvenuti in the back with Chris Downing. So
Enzo's just cruising, man. I can see... I see that really weird says he's laughing. We always go for P1, and I see Admiral Bushido saying, "Jordi, this is James from Wish. You are pushing too hard. You are pushing too hard."
nice there. Ooh,
I don't know.
Kyalami as well in a spin there.
Uh-oh.
So falling back in the lead score now at the moment.
Is Admiral Bushido's real name James, or is he just imitating James?
I think it's an imitation. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have a complete top 3 at the moment. So Daniel Robertson and Thomas Sivokas are trying to catch up to Thomas Schetz.
And there's already a 6-second gap.
6-second gap, yeah, you're completely right. Martin Baldringen trying to follow up in P4. And of course this is a 90-minute race, so nothing has been said already. That's one thing, that's for sure.
Wait, I don't know what I'm missing, but what happened causing Jordi Sanders to drop the P14?
Well, he is
Did he get into the spin?
I have no idea about damage, but that doesn't look like it. Ooh, a little touch there with Martijn Breuker, and I think it was Rafa Star.
Did he get into a spin, or?
Not in my knowledge. Let me see real quick. He is car 79. He is not there in my list in accidents.
Well, I mean, this is what I meant, that because of the spot that he's in, because of the pressure, it's far easier to make smaller mistakes, I would say, causing these types of things to happen.
Absolutely, yeah, and you see as well that a lot of people that are normally like in the upper half of this league fighting, they're struggling like hell at the moment. So Martijn Breuker as well, P13, as well in the Nissan, struggling, it looks like. Being overtaken here by, almost overtaken by Crystal Rado.
Yeah, because now I think he's gonna have to try to do an undercut to get ahead.
Yeah, this is the only option. Chris Downing fighting here. Oh, with Rafa Star. I think it's Rafa Star. Touching a little there. Bruilands P21. Wow, that's really sad to see with his perfect qualification he put in.
Yeah.
Emil Madsen in the fight in the middle field there with Eza Nokalainen and Jeroen Weideman. Eza van der Velde for the fans in chat. Moved up a spot, P11 at the moment. So that's really nice to see. Looks clean.
Hogeveen in P9, let's go. Admiral Bushido.
Yeah, he should be cheering because he's driving next to him in the next Saturday.
Yeah, you're doing what, a 6 or an 8 hour race this Saturday?
It's an 8-hour race, yeah, here at Kyalami, and we are putting in 3 teams from Lasro Racing. So we have, I think it's Admiral Bushida and Hogeveen and a couple of guys, Chris Downing as well, that are trying to put in some effort here next Saturday for a with the boat, the Bentley, and our team with Martijn Breuker, myself, and Christophe Bruilands in the Aston, and then we have Jordi Sanders and his companion in the Audi as well. So 3 teams performing.
Nice. I see Admiral Bushido saying, Baldinger, solid P4 with the edgy Lambo. Can he hold it for an hour plus? Well, we don't know.
Well, he's performing at the moment quite nicely. So 3.5 seconds down on Jamie Ellis, who's trying to chase up here Daniel Robertson in P3.
Is Daniel Robertson also part of their team?
That's a very good question. Let me have a look. No, he's not. It's Ilko Hogeveen, Justin St. Laurent, Chris Downing and Anthony Pellicano.
Oh, I hear your wheel clamp is on the way tomorrow.
Cheerio from my side. Yeah, it's hardly needed. My clamp that for my wheel is broken completely yesterday. Broken off, so I have no way to attach my wheel to my desk. Still a desk, unfortunately, but so not able to drive at the moment.
Did you take your wheel on your lap and drove like that for the race?
Yeah, well, if that's an option, I would take it, but no, unfortunately, you cannot drive without a clamp.
I heard a little birdie say that in a couple of months you'll be driving in a nice fancy rig with a podium.
Oh yes,
and
I
maybe
do.
a fancy OLED TV.
Well, I've got some plans to move forward, yeah.
Nice.
All those years, been racing in a really crooked setup, moving finally to a decent setup and trying to compete with some decent lap times as well, of course. That's the other question.
Yeah, I'm curious. I know that Martijn Breuker has a similar setup, and he's already saying that he's noticing difference.
Yeah, he's my inspiration on that side, definitely.
Isn't he our inspiration? All our inspiration.
All, of course he is. But performing in P17, at the moment he's not, I can tell you.
I wonder if he's going to change cars next season, because he isn't really happy with his current car this season.
He's really struggling with the Nissan, he told us, yeah. So the inside line here for Delgado on Martijn Breuker, trying to pass, not making that move. So we are in the evening hours of this race here at Kyalami, so that means that it will get dark, Sean, and the temps will drop.
I see Jordi Saunders in P14 and he was in P15, so he's kind of moving.
We got a big spin there with Enzo Benvenuti as well. I think it was Eddie Oosterburger. Yep, again off track there with that spin. So Jordi Saunders sliding up 2 places now into, I think it's P13 or 12.
I see Admiral Bushido in chat. J.Hub, enough about your love stories. Back to the race.
Always love his criticism. Brilliant. Well, Sean, it opens up a spot for you when you can try on this wheel I've got at the moment. No more thumbsticking on the track for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think people know by now. I'm a Formula One fan. I suck at GT3, so I might actually try some Formula One. I normally play it on the PlayStation with a controller. I know it's blasphemy and shouldn't be mentioned here, but who knows? I might be able to improve. I see something around Azor van der Velde. They're saying that there's something stuck under his throttle. Uh-oh.
Ooh, that's not sounding that nicely. But he's still driving.
Yeah.
But he is in the mix there with Eddie Oosterburger, Benvenuti, Downing and Madsen, who are touching and twisting at the moment.
I see Admiral Bushido saying, at Ruliveer, Team Azor as in Vettel-like. So I don't know if he's referring to the one that Vettel said there's something loose between my legs and it's not the most obvious thing.
Yeah, probably snowing in. Right, Jordi Saunders at P14 at the moment. If this continues, Sean, what's the average lineup on points that we get here? Do you have an idea?
I was about to calculate that, so let me just quickly check.
He's probably still able to improve, of course, but... So Downen is definitely in P9 at the moment, if the standings are still correct. Trying to be chased up by Enzo Benvenuti, who started from pit. So it's definitely not a unsuccessful move at the moment. So Beautiful Daisy cruising along in P5 at the moment. Martin Balder following up in the Lambo P6. Ilko Hoogeveen in the BMW P7. Followed by Jeroen Weideman and Chris Downing. And Enzo Benvenuti P10 closing down the line there. So Tommy Schets is just comfortably leading with already a 11-second gap towards Sivocas. So, of course, a long way to go, but comfortably cruising along. Daniel Robinson trying to close down the gap towards Thomas Sivocas here for P2. At the moment, 2 seconds down on lap time in his previous lap towards Thomas Sivocas' lap time. So putting in at the moment Tommy Schets at 1:46.1, Thomas Sivocas at 1:46.6, and Daniel Robinson at 1:48.1. So that's the top 3 at the moment in lap times. So still Thomas Sivocas losing 5/10 every lap at the moment, roughly.
Okay, so I've done some rough calculations, and I'm not a math whiz, so I could be wrong at this.
Okay, spill it.
But, and that's me being generous by thinking Jordi Sanders ends in P14, but he's now even in P16.
Yep.
If Jordi Sanders ends in P14 today, that means he gets 25 points. That means he goes to a 727. If Tommy Schets wins this race, he gets 100 points. That would put him at 818.
Yep.
Even if Sanders wins next week,
Yeah.
he still loses the championship because then he's at an 802.
Wow.
So that means that Tommy Schets has to really mess it up next week to lose the championship. But if he finishes in a normal range next week, I mean, he only has to outscore Sanders by a couple of points, then he's there. But at this rate, Sanders could lose the championship.
Let me put it that way, Sean. At what position should Sanders end up tonight to make it still interesting next week?
As high as possible, because there's already a gap.
Okay, what gap cannot be overcome by Sanders then?
Oh, I haven't looked at that one. Let me come back to you with that one. I knew you were going to ask me that.
I know. I want to know these facts. So let's
I feel like the Amazon...
is it still worth it? So otherwise somebody has to call into Jordi Sanders at the moment that he needs to push harder.
Well, I think he knows he needs to push harder. I mean, it's not like he's just driving for funsies, but... oh, man.
Yeah, so they started probably with, Admiral Bushida says in chat, the dry tires were not the best choice. Meaning probably that they started with dry tires already? Ooh, that's the reason why they fall back so hardly. But it can, of course, work in their advantage as the track is already damp and it's drying up at the moment. So Sanders 16, Breuker 18. Let's see, Sanders putting in a 152, Breuker putting in a 151. So roughly 6 seconds lost a lap to Tommy Schets. Every lap at the moment. Yeah, it's still damp, unfortunately, for those guys in the back with dry tires. I wish there was an option, Sean, that it shows which kind of tires everybody's using at the moment, like slicks or wets, but it's not in the game, unfortunately.
That would be pretty nice.
Yep. So the first people already pitting, we have Eddie Oostbrugge, Delgado and Rafa Star entering pits. A lot of damage as well there for Delgado on the front side. Eddie Oostbrugge looks quite clean, and Rafa Star as well on his car damage. Zometeen Breuker in P70 cruising along in that pack with Peter Daas, Esa Nokelainen, Jordi Sanders and Emil Madsen. Peter Daas trying to find some gaps there to attack Esa Nokelainen there. Of course the Lambo versus the Ferrari here as we look at it. Ooh, a little wide there from Esa Nokelainen on the exit. Still a little damp if you see the track conditions there in this part of the track. So Rafstad, Delgado, Oosterbrugge already made their mandatory pit stop at the moment. Oh, I think there was a spin there from, I don't know, it was probably Assetto Kalani, yeah, some damage there as well. So it's a free spot for Peter Das. And see if Martijn Breuker can also take advantage of that spin there that we just saw. Yeah, so Admiral Bushida saying you can see the lines on the tires with the close look-up view. Yeah, I know what you mean there, Bushido. Unfortunately, I would like to see it in the game as a software thingy, so that when it's visible in the standings or something like that. That makes our lives a lot easier, and probably as well for the viewers. Sean, full on calculation still?
I'm just trying to. I don't know if I have the score calculation proper, so I'm just checking on some things.
All right, I'll get back to you. So Joris Son is being chased down here by Peter Das. Let's move aboard a little bit here with Peter Das to see his a little wide as well there. His attack on Joris Sanders, who is, as we saw from the chat from Bushida, probably on dry tires here, and Peter Das, my guess, is on wets, as he is quicker than Joris Sanders on lap times. Yeah, Sanders is definitely struggling there. But Peter Das needs to take and calculate in a little extra care. Really wide there, well, from Sanders in that corner. You see in the back there, Martijn Breuker still in the fight with Assetto Kalani for position. Oh, and of course Martijn Breuker as well, probably on the dry tires. So up in front we have Enzo Benvenuti trying to find the gap towards Chris Downing here in P7. He's looking on average on a gap of 1.8 seconds. Well, people already talking about dreams in chat, so interesting to know what's going on there. I have a dream, yeah, probably about the software, I would say then. We'll put in a tip box for Kunas. So beautiful Daisy here as well with, I think it's Martin Mollinger in the back. Yep, you already see coming up those dry lines on the track. So that probably will mean in a couple of laps we'll see the advice to switch over to slicks. Jamie Ellis in the fight here with Daniel Robinson for position number 3.
Okay, so I think I have something, I'm not sure.
Spill the goods.
Okay, so Saunders would have to finish in P2 today.
Yeah.
And then in P1 next week.
Yeah.
And then hope that Tommy Schets finishes 6th or lower.
Mm-hmm.
then he would win the championship by 1 point.
Wow.
But
Okay.
if Tommy Schets wins this race
Yep.
and is 5th or higher next week,
Yep.
then he's probably champion.
Wow. Okay. So probably.
Or it could be
Yeah.
even worse, because that's saying Saunders gets P2. If Saunders performs at the pace he's doing now, there's a big chance he's already lost.
Okay. Interesting to see. Interesting. Well, nothing said. The lead looks very, very comfortable for Tommy Schets at the moment. As of course, Jordi Sanders is already on dry tires and Martijn Breuker. So with the track cleaning up on rain, on wetness, everything can change quite rapidly now.
Yeah, even if you look at it, if Schets goes in now, I think he has a free pit stop over Saunders, because what the gap do we know what the average pit stop time is if he just does tires?
I would say the pit stop itself is 30 seconds, but they need to refuel, otherwise they cannot carry out this race.
Okay.
So roughly it will be, I think, 40 seconds then, and then
Well,
you have the pit entry and exit.
Well, if you already look at that, where is Saunders? Saunders is 12th. So if
Yeah.
you look already that the gap from Chris Downing to Schets is already 23 seconds, and if we like quickly look, it's like 2, let's say 7, it's like 20. So even now, if Schets goes in now, he'll still end up in front of Saunders.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, what Saunders planning, is he going to put through a long stint with these tires?
Yeah, that's also a possibility.
Then he will end up with fresher tires in the last part of the race, and he can climb. We know how quick he can be. He can climb up that ladder rapidly.
I know, but like that's why at this current pace, I wonder what's going on inside Saunders' head, because
How much he's losing, you mean? Yeah.
yeah, because like, is he in hyper focus and is he like, okay, I can do this, or is his head spinning all over the place because it's like, shit, I'm in P12, I'm normally leading the pack, and now I'm in the midfield.
Yeah, fighting for positions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean there. Well, looking at Ace van der Velde, of course he needs to make that mandatory pit stop. P9. Oh, we got a little lag there, it looks like. So Jamie L is leaving pit. Yeah, that's, sorry everybody who's looking, watching the stream, it's definitely my internet at the moment that's spiking up and down. So it should be reconnected on a normal pace.
Well, seems that I'm not the only one that has internet issues.
Nope. Yeah, everybody of course here is on internet in the block I'm living. So you notice it sometimes in the evening. Everybody has to be home at, of course, after 9. That's the reason.
Yeah, in the Netherlands. I heard in France, for example, the curfew is starts at 6.
Oh, that's really.
So that's like really
that's
early.
really early, yeah. Right, let's. Seems that it's stabilized a little more. So Chris Downing is leading the pack at the moment. Tommy Schets just made that mandatory pit stop we spoke about. And switched up to P3. So he didn't lose that much. So Jamie Ellis returning on track, P8 at the moment. Daniel Robinson, P6. Tinos Sivokas, P5. And that are the guys that already made their mandatory pit stops. So Peter Daas in pit at the moment, who was of course in the fight there with Martijn Breuker, Jordi Sanders. So Jordi Sanders is pushing on his stint into P9 at the moment. It's roughly a 10-second gap towards Jamie Ellis, who just returned after that mandatory pit stop. And he's now defending towards Emil Madsen in P10.
So I think I don't know if you saw it. I was looking at something else, but Admiral Bushido says J.Hub opens Explorer. Windows says all 50 downloads in progress.
Yeah, all DLC is still downloading. Yeah.
I think Tommy Schets went in, so he just needs to ride this one out, and then Benvenuti and Downing will head in by themselves, and then he'll be back at the front of the pack again.
Yeah, it's cruising along at the moment for Tommy Schets. Also, it's P3. Still, it's
Yeah, and I mean that way you can also get a bit of the lay of the land, see where the wet spots and the dry spots of the track are.
exactly, yeah, and he's only that far behind to Enzo Benvenuti, as here is Peter Daas coming through that corner. So roughly behind that corner is Tommy Schets. Yeah, it's a little bigger than that, but he's chasing up to those guys already. Chris Downing up front, leading the pack now. And don't forget, we saw Chris Downing all the way in the back with the crash or the slide that we saw earlier on the first lap. So he's putting in the effort, I have to say. So we have just roughly over 1 hour of racing left, so we are already passing the 30-minute mark almost. And track is still damp though, but you see the dry lines on track already, quite heavily. Daniel Robson here in the fight with Ace van der Velde for P6. Ace van der Velde of course still on his original starting tires. Daniel Robson already putting in laps on his new tires. So roughly last lap 150, Daniel Robson 157 and Ace van der Velde in 152. But still Ace van der Velde pushing hardly here, as it looks like. Let's switch on board with Ace van der Velde here. And Christoph Bruilands as well, that we saw spinning and gliding in the back at P4 at the moment. Nicely overtake here, overtake in the inside line. And trying to clear up some room now towards Daniel Robson. But still don't forget that he needs to make that mandatory pit stop here. Let's see, Kevin Bruilands in P5 trying to chase up Tommy Schets.
So let me just adjust this and say 757. What is the gap between Saunders and Ellis? That's 2.4 seconds.
Yep.
Well, I think he'll be able to close that gap.
Yeah, but don't forget Ellis already made that mandatory pit stop.
Yeah, if I'm looking at it now, for example, if Saunders finishes in P9, he goes from 727 points to 757. Slightly increasing his odds, but
probably still not enough.
Let me check. Then next week it will be.
So Team Ace van der Velde is already full on in chat. P6 and defending now.
Yeah, if Saunders gets P9 for example and P1 next week, he ends in 8:32, and then if Schets for example gets P5 next week, he'll still win by like 8:66. So that's still a big difference in points. Then he would still have 34 points over
Saunders, yeah.
Saunders. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, I never
definitely
thought
Saunders needs to push then.
I never thought it would be would get to this position.
Yeah, P9 is already quite a effort that he put in. Of
Yeah.
course, still struggling in the first first stint of this race with his slick tires.
And the thing is if he goes in, he'll probably have to get through the midfield again. All those drivers have already pitted, so who says that they won't make it difficult for him to get through?
Mm-hmm. I feel you there.
I see Admiral Bushido's on fire, by the way, today. He says he says at really weird. Team A's are like J.Hub. This is James from Ziggo. You are slower than the game. You are slower than the game.
You're gaining position. You're gaining position. Keep pushing. Yeah.
Oh man.
So P5 at the moment, Ace van der Velde, and that's of course Enzo Benvenuti pitting at the moment.
And
So
now
he
he's
slides up a spot.
now he's burning me. He says, "Is Sean still going to use the calculator?"
Yeah, you need like a basic education to do that run.
Yeah.
The basic calculator course.
Well,
in Windows.
we'll have some fancy Excel sheet next season in which we just put in the points and then it automatically calculates that for us.
Yep. Alright, so Ace van der Velde, P5, trying to find or close down the gap towards Sivocas, which is roughly 12 seconds now. Kevin Bruilands as well still have to make that mandatory pit stop in P3. We see Tommy Schets up front there. And it's Chris Downing who is pitting now at the moment. So he had a 16-second gap towards Tommy Schets there, Sean. Well, that's already closed down, because Tommy Schets is just entering start-finish. Here we go. 19 laps we have been spending on this track, and Tommy Schets is leading back on top where he started. Chris Downing and Bruilands both pitting at the moment, so trying to focus on the strategy probably. Sivocas already made that mandatory pit stop into P2 now, which is she's looking at probably the car at the Oosterbrugge. Yep.
Commentator station on fire. Admiral Bushido. I would say maybe we should have him over next time to commentate.
Yeah, I think that would be a nice, nice thing to do. And we get some French laugh in this channel.
Oh, I love French laughs.
Daniel Robinson, P4 with the fight here at Ace van der Velde. Trying to close down the gap as Ace still has to make that mandatory pit stop and probably losing time on his stint now. As Ace put in a 148.2 compared to the 147.3 of Daniel Robinson.
I see Jordi Sanders is already in P7.
Yep, he is.
Well, this might turn out to be exciting after all.
Yeah, of course that mid-pack is still really close to each other, so he probably will lose quite a couple of places there if you make that mandatory pit stop now.
Yeah.
So Nokalainen as well needs to make that pit stop. And Benvenuti is the one who's chasing now Jordi Sanders down with his pit stop already being completed. In that BMW he started from the pit stop in the beginning of the race.
If you look at how, for example, it's still impressive that someone like Chris Downing, who got spun out, fell back to almost the back of the pack, is now P6.
Yep.
I mean, it's still impressive that he's able to pull that off.
Yeah, he's really pushing tonight. Definitely.
Yeah.
P6, and he is roughly 2 seconds. Yeah, 2 seconds from Jamie Ellis here, who is still battling now with Ace van der Velde in P4. Let's see how he will sell his car at the moment, as he still has to make that mandatory pit stop. Yeah, 0 to hero. That's the question in the end. Is it still 0 to hero for Chris Downing, or will he make a mistake still in the 51 minutes to come? As we enter the evening here in Kyalami, so temps are dropping already at 14 degrees as we started with 19. Chris Downing there on the inside line towards Ace van der Velde. Let's get on board real quick with Chris Downing here, trying to fight him in the inside as he does. Because Ace of course still on the first set of tires. Little slide there from Daniel Robson, followed by Jamie Ellis and Chris Downing now in a P5. So full days here in the fight with Emil Madsen and defending towards Martijn Breuker here for P12. And as of course Martijn Breuker will get the benefits of starting on the slicks, but still has to make that mandatory pit stop, which full days he already made there.
I see that the track is greasy. Is
Yeah.
that like I haven't seen that one before.
It is a combination of a little moist and rubber and that kind of stuff. So that's, I think if I'm right, that's called greasy on track status.
Okay.
So it will get to probably fast of optimum or something like that in a few. The back Martijn Breuker there, just leaving track real quick. And Peter Voldesi still in the fight here with Emil Madsen. Let's get on board with Peter Voldesi real quick. We see Enzo Benvenuti there up front in P8. So Jordi Sanders P6 at the moment, still has to make that mandatory pit stop. Let's see how he is doing at the moment here on track. Trying to fight towards Daniel Robinson, it is there. It is not Daniel Robinson, of course, it's Esa Nokalainen. Also not, whoa. Is it Jeroen Weideman? It's Jeroen Weideman. We have Chris Downing here trying to catch up towards Jamie Ellis and Daniel Robson for P4 and P3.
Downing is also pushing pretty hard.
Yeah, he is really trying to get some results in here tonight. So Downing at the moment a 1:45.5 compared to the 1:45.6 of Jamie Ellis in the last lap he put in here. Let's see what this lap will bring him, as he's already being held back a little probably. So 1:45.4 compared to the 1:45.9 from Jamie Ellis. So he is definitely quicker, but he still needs to pass Jamie Ellis in a decent way here. And it's Daniel Robson of 1:45.8, so a little quicker there than Jamie Ellis, but definitely not as quick as Chris Downing here. So the big question is, when is Jordi Sanders entering pit for his mandatory pit stop, and to see what his result will be after that pit, in which position he will end up.
If you were in his shoes, when would you go in?
Well, roughly if I was not able to put in decent lap times on the slicks that he has at the moment.
Okay.
So let's see, he is putting in 1:46 low at the moment. So roughly when he's putting in 1:46 middle or high, that's probably would be the nicest time to put in that mandatory pit stop.
Downing, Ellis incoming.
Yep, the fight will come on there.
Yeah, that's what Bushido says, and
It
really
definitely will.
weird says. I think he means where, but he says war. He says, where is Azor?
Where is Azor?
I think he disconnected again?
I think so too. Yeah, because we lost 2 drivers tonight already.
Kimberly van Dijk says, don't know. I'm afraid I don't know for sure, but it looks like he disconnected.
Yep, he's disconnected. Gee, second time already. Well, you rather have lag than a disconnect, I would say that.
Yeah, internet again, Emerald Bushido.
Probably, yeah. So I know last race it happened the first time for him, and now it's already the second time, so...
Maybe he has the crappy internet provider I have.
Sanders in pit, Sean. So this is the moment for him to shine now.
He drops back to P12.
Yeah, I think P13 is the one he's also losing now. Yep.
Can you also have... No. So I think he'll, in this case, he'll be faster because he has less fuel in his car and fresher tires.
Yeah.
So he might be able to get through that field faster.
Yeah, probably started up with a full tank of fuel, as he will definitely leave pit probably in P13 if it's... Yep, he is. P13. So he repaired his damage as well on the side.
Oh,
so now is his first... There we have Tommy Schetz, so he's just been lapped by Tommy Schetz here.
Oh, wow.
So it's definitely not the race for P1 he's going to fight now. So it's the only thing he can do at the moment is ending up as high as possible. As we have, let's see, Martijn Breuker still not pitting P8. Let's see how he is coping with his car. He's in the fight there with Full Daisy, and I think it's Benvenuti up front. Yep.
Really says to Kimberly, help him. What is she supposed to do?
Switch over to 4G, do it. So let's move to the fight from Downing towards Ellis here for P4 in this race. So his gap has increased a little bit. So last lap 1:45.5 for Chris Downing, 1:45.7 for Jamie Ellis. And Daniel Robson at 1:44.9, so he's a little quicker there. you see Asa Nokalainen now in P6, but still needing to pit. As well, Martijn Breuker in P8. And so Benvenuti in between those guys in P7 already made that mandatory pit stop. Disconnected again, Kimberly van Dijk says. That's a shame. He wasn't putting a decent fight here. So Jamie Els as well in the fight here for P3 with Daniel Robinson. So a really close and tight fight. It looks like it's going to be here. Just waiting for the mistake of one of the drivers. And it looks like Jamie Ellis was waiting on the right moment and it came there. Jamie Ellis, correction, Daniel Robson a little wide there. So sliding into P3 at the moment with Chris Downing in the inside line as well. Switching over with Daniel Robson for P4, but still not the fight he was expecting, as he is gaining back some space there. Let's move on board real quick with Chris Downing. So Jordi Sanders already moved up P12 there, Sean.
Yeah, I noticed. I was just checking the standings and I saw it happen.
So he is in the fight now with Emil Messen, who is still not put in that mandatory pit stop.
Yeah, Martijn Breuker hasn't pitted as well, and
with a little fault there, inside line for the cross, keeping it clean and tight towards Daniel Robson here. Nokalainen entering pit now, so they will move Martijn Breuker up one more spot. Of course, it's only virtually at the moment. So the closest fight on track at the moment is here, the one with Daniel Robson and Chris Downing.
He's gonna get him.
And there's a lot of pressure here on Daniel Robson. You can see it again here on that corner, a little mistake. Putting them side by side. Let's see who holds back. So Chris trying to keep it clean. And a new chance will probably arise quite quickly now.
It's funny that from this point of view, it looks like they're driving pretty slow, but they're probably driving really fast.
Yeah, they're really driving on the limit in this fight.
I see Giel in chat saying even Apeldoorn bellen.
Yeah, that's probably the right thing to do.
Oh man.
Well, probably calling customer service isn't the best thing.
Yeah, especially at this time.
Well, you got some evidence on the stream here, if you're looking for it. Chris Downing still in the fight here with Daniel Robson for P4. Trying to get in that slipstream. Really fighting bumper to bumper now. Quite nice and clean exit there from Chris on that corner. Daniel Robson holding on in this fight. So we have Emil Madsen now in pits, the last one who has to make that mandatory pit stop. Martijn Breuker just took that pit stop as well. P14 he came out. Jordi Sanders already in P10, probably sliding into P9 now. So let's see, he's entering start finish. Emil Madsen still in pits. Yep, P9 it will be, but still in the fight here with Tommy Schets. Of course being lapped by Tommy Schets already, but still seeing some interesting times. 1:43.3 compared to the 1:43.1 from Tommy Schets. Only 2 tenths down on the lap times of Tommy Schets. And let's see, Peter Daisy is the next in line for Jordi Sanders, a 1:45.7, so 2 seconds plus on a lap, every lap that he's increasing towards Peter Daisy. And that's roughly, I think it's 16, 15, 8 seconds. 8 seconds difference now.
The gap between Downing and Robertson is still pretty tight, but he can't get past him.
Yeah, he's still in that fight, as we see here. He's got on board real quick with Chris again. I'm just thinking that Chris is waiting for his chance, his clean shot.
Yeah, probably just.
He is holding back here, you can see, on this corner. Trying the inside line, also not an option. Darren Robson closing up the gap. Ooh, a little spin, losing some time there. Quite nice close lines here from Chris on this corner. So this fight is still on the move, and then we have Martijn Breuker trying to pass Raffenstar here. That's the next fight that's also going to happen, and already happened there. Ooh, a little touch there on the inside. Not giving that much space from Raffenstar. So Martijn Breuker into P12 now. So Jordi Sanders is roughly needing 20 seconds now towards Baldinger, as he is behind Tommy Schets, and of course that will give him some extra pace, as Tommy Schets is also putting in some really quick times, 1:43.2 last lap. So we just have over 34 minutes of driving to go tonight. So Sean, Jordi Sanders at the moment P8, looking like he's able to close the gap towards Baldinger now. What would you say? What would give him a fair chance next week? Top 5 tonight?
Let's see. We have 35 minutes left.
Yep.
What's the gap between Sifokas and Schets? It's 30 seconds.
30 seconds roughly, yep.
Okay. Well, I think, to be honest, if he keeps driving at this pace...
Well, I've got some interesting news. Jordi Sanders just unlapped himself on Tommy Schets.
Yeah, so I'm about to say, like, at this pace, he will
is
be able to get maybe like a podium even.
He is pushing like crazy now, yeah. 1:43.1 last lap, compared to the 1:44.0 of Tommy Schets, so 9 tenths up.
Yeah, so I actually think he might make like a crazy comeback in this race. Well, he's already doing it, but
that would be insane, right?
Yeah, I think it's like a minimum of a P5 or a P4 wouldn't be crazy, I think.
Yep.
Let's say Downing overtakes Robertson. Sanders will probably overtake Robertson, so like that P5 should be the minimum that he should be able to get.
Yeah, we got still Benvenuti, Daisy and Baldinger in between those guys, of course, so that's not the least drivers that he has to pass, but
Yeah,
still
I
with
think.
this pace, it's an option.
Yeah, I think maybe he'll get into trouble, especially during when he gets to Benvenuti.
Yep, I will say so as well. So Chris is still trying to keep it clean here, as he's still not able to pass Daniel Robson for P4. And Jamie Ellis is the one who is getting the the results in due to the fight there.
Really weird says next time I'll put a good luck voodoo doll on the internet line of Azor. And Admiral Bushido says Benvenuti went from P16 to P6.
Yeah, he started of course in pit and now driving in P6. That's also one to mention, definitely.
Yeah, I think people, I think people realize this when they see this, but it's not always the person that gets the P1 or the P2 or the 3 that is like a really good driver. I think a driver can also separate himself from the rest by just coming back from a really bad position, like what Enzo Benvenuti or Chris Downing are doing in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. But also don't forget Jordi Sanders with the effort he put in with the starting position or the fallback that he had in the first part of the race. That's also some craftsmanship on his part. It's racing craftsmanship.
Definitely.
So Peter Daas, Hogeveen and Weideman at the moment closing down the lines in the back, and Emil Madsen trying to overtake here Delgado. So Peter Daas up front, and that's Jeroen Weideman. And I was Eddie Osborne, of course, in the blue Bentley in the fight there with Jamie Ellis now. Jamie, it's not a fight really, but the blue flag situation there. Here we go. So Jamie Ellis is really profiting of this situation with Chris and Daniel. Those two are still in the fight for P4 and 5. So Martin Baldinger trying to catch up towards Beautiful Daisy and Enzo Benvenuti here. I think that's Enzo Benvenuti up front. A little bigger gap than that. So that's probably a blue flagger as well. So Daniel, the next interesting thing, Sean, Daniel Robson is hitting some traffic now here with Emil Madsen and Delgado, I think it is, of Rafa Star. Delgado. So let's see what's going to happen here.
I see. I'm surprised by this. Oh, I shouldn't be saying surprised, but Rudy Breuker says that Sanders is a black belt in racing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What would he? What kind of belt would he give his own son? Then I wonder.
That's an interesting question you're putting in there, Sean.
That's like a really sensitive subject.
Yeah, as he is P12 at the moment, but came back from all the way in the back.
Yeah.
But that's also due to strategy, of course, and it can end up well for him and Jordi Sanders. On the end of the race, we always can say it was a mistake or was a good thing to do.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think that would is not possible. I think, but like if these races would have stuff like engineers in the mix, I think that would be like a whole different kind of game. It would become.
Yeah, and I think like top tier racing in this game is definitely involving some engineering or some team managing. So,
certain, yeah.
It can make a difference, absolutely, on strategy. I think that's the Delgado going, getting out of the way there, and Emil Madsen up front as traffic, so they passed one. Green belt for Martijn de Hulkbreuker.
Oh, nice. Oh, even his own father is calling him the Hulk. Nice.
Well, he made a name there.
Yeah, I mean, we call him Hulkenberg, so it's nice that his father's also calling him a Hulkenberg.
I think it's Admiral Bushido calling him the Hulk.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah. Wow, sorry.
So Sanders is trying to close down the gap towards Martin Baldinger at the moment. The gap is not that close at the moment, so he needs to keep pushing. A 1:42.2, Sean, last lap, so roughly 2.5 seconds quicker than Martin Baldinger in his last lap. So he needs 10 seconds roughly. Tommy Schets up behind, just cruising along, as you know he only needs to finish up 27 minutes. And he cannot do any better than this.
Rudy Breuker says I second that at Admiral Bushido, so is a green belt from his dad as well.
Okay, no, I have to admit I have no idea about the belt colors following each other.
I can quickly look it up. I think it's like the 4th level, so like you start with white is level 0, 1, and then you go to I think yellow, blue.
I know black is the highest. That's one.
Yeah. I think it's like white, yellow, orange, blue, green. Let me just quickly look that up.
Right, Daniel Robinson still in the fight with Chris Downing. 4P4. So Eddie Oosterbrugge trying to slide into P14 here in the fight with Emil Madsen. And then in behind we have the guys from Downing and Robson. So that's some traffic up front for those guys.
I think it's like a level 7 or a level 8.
Okay.
That's pretty high. So that would be like an intermediate level.
How many are there then?
I think it differs per sport, but the table I'm looking at is around 18, 19 levels.
Oh wow, that's quite a ladder.
Yeah, because it's like it's green, and then it's green stripe, and then it's blue, and then it's blue stripe, and then I think even in some sports there's like multiple levels of black, so you get like 10th, 9th, 8th, all the going to full black belt.
Okay. Well, I've got some good news from Jordi Sanders fans in the chat or in the stream. He just put in the quickest lap of the race, a 1:42.0.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty damn quick. But I also have some negative news for the drivers on track. In 10 minutes it's going to start to rain. And we have 25 minutes to go.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, this can end up in a very, very interesting race, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, even Admiral Bushido is he says, Sean, you won't find the colors on the calculator, man. Smart ass.
Alright, so just looking at the weather forecast, Sean. Being Jordi Sanders, being Martijn Breuker, starting on slicks. Gambling that it will stop raining or it will dry up pretty soon and making a long stint can now work in their disadvantage if it starts to rain again, because they only made it just a really short stint on their new tires and lost so much in the first part of the race.
I don't know what kind. I think everybody's on dry tires, right?
Of course, yeah. They are now, but the stint that Jordi Sanders and Martijn Breuker are putting in isn't that long as of other drivers, of course, due to the first stint they took on slicks.
Yeah,
it's interesting how it will end up if it's going to rain again.
Yeah, I mean,
I see Emil Madsen in the fight there. Let's switch over real quick to the fight for those guys. And that fight is with Rafa Star up front. really on the throttle there nicely out of that corner, trying to get that slipstream from Prophet Star. And also the group in the back there, Eddie Oosterbruggen, Delgado and Chad Harry for 15, 16 and 17 in the fight there. And there is Downing and Robson in the back as well. Still coping with this traffic here we're looking at, and as well a fight that they're having. So let's switch back real quick to Chris Downing, who is really pushing forward on pace towards Daniel Robson now. Trying to force him into an error, but keeping it clean. So Jordi Sanders at the moment is roughly 7 seconds away from a position towards Martin Baldinger. This can get interesting really quickly now. And Chris Downing in the fight here with Daniel Robson still for P4. Eddie Oosterbruggen just pitted again, so probably due to a spin or some damage then.
I wonder if he's gonna switch the slicks.
That's also an option, but really quick at the moment, as it will overheat the tires so rapidly. So it wouldn't be a wise decision yet. Well, Sean, Chris still not passing Daniel Robertson here, still in that fight already for pretty some laps here.
Yeah, I mean
Pretty
at this
few
rate,
laps.
yeah, it's I wouldn't have expected it. I thought he'd pass him already by now.
Yeah, of course, Daniel Robertson not the least driver on the track tonight, so we have to give him that credit as well.
I just heard a car drive by and I was thinking like, huh, is this coming from the game or is it coming from outside? I'm so used to it being so quiet on the streets because of the curfew.
Well, probably not a GT3 car then.
No. I don't hope so.
I hope so for you, it would be nice, but
I don't know if my
Probably not.
windows survive.
what, you're still on single glass?
I don't actually know what kind of glass.
I really don't hope so for you. Otherwise I will bring you a blanket tomorrow.
Ah, thanks. This is turning out to be one of the more exciting races of this season.
Yeah, definitely the ending part of the race. So we have 3 minutes to go before rain will pour down on us.
Yeah, and I think in this case, Sanders, I wouldn't say is lucky, but is definitely benefiting from the fact that this is a super endurance, because otherwise it would have been over already.
Yep, that's completely true there. You see the blinkers there of Chris Downing. Inside line, still not able to. He's fighting so close, but so clean.
That's
pretty
really nice.
good driving there. So Eddie Oosterbruggen is staying in pit, so that looks like a DNF. Ooh, that's a shame for so much points this race.
And the rain has started.
And here we go. Intensely increasing over the next 10 minutes. So it's only a matter of fact of time that the track condition from greasy will decrease towards damp, and of course to wet afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's the question now, how long will everybody stay out before they change over to wet tires? Or how long can they control a car decently at the moment? So I see Martijn Breuk already trying to take the chance to pit now, as he wants to be the first. A lot of cars already, Daniel Robinson as well, Downing pushing forward. Ooh, this could be interesting.
I see Admiral Bushido asking lap times for the Hulk. Come back, push, question mark?
Well, the Hulk 1:44.8 last lap. So not the quickest, not the slowest. So roughly about Emil Madsen is an Oakline and Christoph Bruyland times.
Well, this might make things interesting, because if Tommy Schets heads in,
Yep.
his lead over Saunders will only be like, now it's more than a minute. It'll be half a minute, I think, when he comes out.
Something like that, yeah, and roughly less than that.
Yeah.
But of course, Schets has to pit as well. That's one
No,
thing.
that's what I mean.
Sure.
If Schets heads in, then his lead over Saunders will be cut by half.
Yeah, that's true. So Saunders pushing forward into P6 now, but still definitely has to make that pit stop, as he can definitely not finish this race on slicks on a decent lap time.
Rudy Breuker says, I hope for a comeback at Admiral Bushido.
Yeah, we as well do. So Jamie Ellis as well, still driving forwards on those slicks. Sivokas, Schets and Downing, all of them still out. And Sanders of course, Benvenuti as well. So Martijn Breuker in P6 and here we go. So we are having Ellis and Madsen into pit now for the change up to wet tires. So Sanders is coming down the hill now. Let's see, Full Daisy as well there in that pack behind Sanders. And there is Martijn Breuker already, but probably with a lap +1 on his timer. Yep, he has. Jamie Ellis pitting now as well. We see a lot of cars pitting. Ooh, I think that's Delgado or Rothstar in the back, who had to reverse a little for his pit stop to be taken. Tommy Schret still pushing forward at the moment in his Honda. Let's see if he's going to take this this lap opportunity to pit. Yep, he is. So Sivokas is next in line at the moment, second place. He probably is struggling a lot as well, so he will pit as well. Let's see what it will cost Tommy Schets here. So that's interesting to see. Martijn Breuker was of course the first driver to enter pit. Let's see what he can make up here. P14 at the moment. Ooh, we had a yellow flag in behind there already.
Uh-oh.
I don't know who it was. Could not see, unfortunately. Car 52.
So Schets is also in?
Yep.
Well, this is interesting.
So the last sector almost here for Martijn Breuker. Emil Madsen trying to chase up Martijn Breuker here. So we have, I think it's Jamie Ellis up front there. Yes, it is. Let's see if one of those guys still have to make pit stops. Probably not. So Tommy Schets still leading comfortably behind in P2 at the moment. Thomas Sivokas just leaving the pit. So that's interesting to see what Tommy Schets will do here. Correction, Tommy Schets, Jamie Ellis, of course. Sivokas is just few hundred meters up front. 3 seconds it looks like. So Tommy Schetz is chasing down Jordi Sanders, who is still not pitted yet. So Tommy Schetz a 241 versus a 251 of Jordi Sanders here up front, so he will lose a lot of time if he doesn't make that pit stop now.
I thought Sanders already went in.
I didn't think so, did he?
I think they were both in pit at the same time.
Oh wow, so okay, then he just had an outlap probably. So 153 last lap for Sanders and 153.5 it was for Jordi Sanders, 153.1 for Tommy Schetz. So yeah, definitely both on the wet tires then. So Breuker in P13, so probably Rafa and Delgado in the went into the pit. So here's a local line here, trying to find a way forward on the inside line. I think that's the fight with Enzo Benvenuti, just lost the place towards. He does. So Benvenuti into P7 now. And Downing still in that fight with Daniel Robinson, but now up front. And Jamie Andrews, of course, is the next in line for him to drive towards. But still, that's a 9.7 second gap that he's looking at. Sean, 10 minutes to go. What's the prediction at the moment? We have Tommy Schetz, Sivocas and Jamie Ellis in P1, 2 and 3.
I don't know, man. I only got it once, got it right once, so I don't. With these kinds of odds, I honestly don't know.
Really interesting in if Jordi Sanders is able to push a little more forward now at the moment, as his next in line will be Asa Nokalainen, and that's a roughly 7 second gap. Here we have him, Asa in the Ferrari, P7. Daniel Robson losing a position and some time towards Chris Downing, who is really fighting his way forward at the moment. So P3, Jamie Ellis here. It's quite a decent gap towards Sivocas. Sivocas as well, P2 at the moment. With a 1:49.6 last lap, so that's roughly 7/10 down on the lap time of Tommy Schetz and 4/10 up towards Jamie Ellis, so he's quite decent, on the way for a decent result here tonight, P2. We have Delgado here in the fight with Rafa for P14. Ooh, spinning out there, Ruff, losing a lot of time. Rafa overtaking him here and switching position. Peter Das in behind P16 at the moment. Verhoeven still in the fight there, looking forward towards Peter Das. Of course, the gap is really decent. And Chailed Harry already also left. Ooh, that's a shame. So another DNF there. Jeroen Weideman closing up the line here, P18.
I see really weird saying good luck guys, sorry I have to go, till next time.
Well, thanks a lot really for joining tonight. Unfortunately, Acer with another problem out of this race. And then let's hope that he will end up on the finish line in 2 weeks time in Nürburgring. At the Nürburgring. So Jordi Sanders losing some pace now at the moment towards Ace and Oakline and Benvenuti. So he's winning a little on Ace and Oakline, who made a spin probably as he put in a 2 minutes, and Enzo Benvenuti in 1:49.8. So he's winning some time there. As Jordi Sanders is overtaking Ace and Oakline already here on start finish, following Tommy Schets there, and slides into P8 now. Correction, P7. So next up for Jordi Sanders, Enzo Benvenuti with a really decent gap of roughly 14 seconds. So pace Enzo Benvenuti 1:49.8, pace Jordi Sanders 1:56 last lap. And that of course due to traffic. So the gap is now 17 seconds. So Thomas Sivocas there with Christoph Bruilands, of course not for position, but 1:40, 1:51.4, Bruilands 1:53 for Sivocas, so he's definitely quicker there. But Kevin Bruilands trying to hook on towards Sivocas here for his pace. And Tommy Schets putting in a 50.2 last lap. Martijn Breuker trying to chase up here Emil Madsen for P11. Let's move on board with Martijn Breuker real quick. So rain is increasing, so we already are on a wet track condition. So that means raising the traction control and tempering the throttle. Ew, I've got Asa Noklanashan who is in pit already. Well, that doesn't look like he's on the right side of the pit entry.
Oh, what's happening there?
I think he spun on the entry of the pit. Ooh, that means that he will fall back probably quite a decent spot. See Christoph Bruilands just entering the last sector here, or the last corner here. So he's moving up a spot as well. Emil Madsen also probably, and Martijn Breuker as well. So that's unfortunate for Asa Oakline there. So just over 4 minutes to go in this race. And as said before, everything could happen this race and everything did happen this race. So Tommy Schets is one and only driver that actually is performing to his best at the moment, as he started P1 and ending up in P1 probably. So Jordi Sanders still chasing up Tommy Schets here on his lap times. So 150.2 last lap. Tommy Schets 149.2, so roughly second quicker. Yeah, so Sanders P7 at the moment. I see Admiral Bushida saying what a lot of comebacks tonight. Yeah, that's absolutely, definitely true. Otherwise, it will be really hard for Sanders to make a difference next week, as the gap is really big at the moment, as we just spoke before early on.
Yeah, I mean, we only have the Nürburgring left after this, so...
Yep. So Enzo Benvenuti, really a long way out here towards Sanders. But it's still possible there in 2 minutes. He can still make a mistake here. So Daniel Orbison as well, really decent here in P5. 152.9 he's putting in. 152.3 at the moment. Chris Downing pushing like he means it. 151.2. So really harsh conditions as track. The rain on track is increasing. Tommy Schets is just started his last lap before he's ending up on the podium tonight. And Thomas Sivokas as well, almost at start finish. Jamie Ellis, decent P3 at the moment. Quicker than Sivokas, but the gap is probably too big to catch up.
By the sound of it, Rudy Breuker is a fan of the Nürburgring.
Yeah, well, in 2 weeks' time it will be decided, I would say. Probably is already a little bit here, but we cannot rule it out, Sean. Everything can happen to Tommy Schets, of course. He's not invincible. So Admiral Bushida is already voting for driver of the day, Downing from last to P4. Yeah, that's a really decent result he's putting in here tonight. So Breuker into P10 now. Emil Madsen just been overtaken there by Breuker. Just missed a little there. What happened? But decent result as well with the conditions he faced today. So we have Tommy Schets winning today, sliding through the race. Really big gap as well to Thomas Sivokas, but it doesn't mean anything. So Sanders as well couldn't start a new lap. P7 he ended up in. We got Jamie Ellis probably leaving and ending up in P3. So that's Christopher Broadlands in behind, but is also being lapped, of course. Congrats here as well to Thomas Sivokas, P2.
I see Admiral Bushida saying, driver of the day, Downing from last to P4. Breuker, P10, GG at Rudy Breuker, hashtag Team Breuker.
Absolutely, good game there, yeah. Jamie Ellis, P3. Then we have Chris Downing ending up, if he's not making a mistake here, P4. Followed by Daniel Robson in P5.
So if I do a rough estimate, a rough calculation, and after the race, y'all will do the proper one. Jordi Sanders is what? Is in P7?
Yep.
So that would mean he gets 60 points, meaning he goes to 762 points. Meaning the gap between him and Schets is bigger, because Schets is at 818. So now we have a point difference of 56.
Wow, that's
And
quite a big, decent gap.
yeah, and if you win the race next week, you get 75 points in P1.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think Tommy Schets has to really have a bad race next week if he wants to lose the championship.
Yeah, of course, say never never, but
I mean, like, if Saunders becomes first, because then he gets to 75, or at least he needs to score more than the gap, and Schets needs to finish really low, or
Yep.
maybe a DNF, then there is a small possibility Saunders might become champion, but the odds are not in his favor.
Absolutely. Shall we, Sean?
We shall.
Alright, I'll see you on the flip side. Awesome to see you here as well. Let's see if we can get Tommy Schets, Sivokas and our P3 in here.
No.
Well, we got Tommy Schets already here. Let's start with Tommy. Tommy, first of all, congrats, and probably with a lot of fingers crossed, if nothing happens crazy next in 2 weeks time, the champion of this season. If Tommy unmutes himself. Let's see if he sees it. Yeah, I thought so. He's probably looking for a towel.
Or he's going to a pit stop of his own.
Yeah, that's also an option. 90 minutes of racing is not nothing. But it looks like cruising for him tonight. Let's see if we can find... Ah, he's gone again. Could be a technical problem as well with him. Ah, he says wait a minute, so it should be there already.
Ah, I see that Jordi Saunders has joined the as well. This is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, let's see if Tommy is... Let's see if we can get Thomas in here as well.
Well, maybe we can start with Jordi Saunders then. Dan Robertson is in as well.
Perfect. Know if I can invite...
Maybe you can invite
Thomas.
Downing as well. Your
Yeah.
money man. And we lost Jordi Saunders.
Well, a lot of ringing and dinging.
I like how they say ring a ding bang
Ring the
bell,
ding ding.
something like that on YouTube when they mean the notification bell.
Yep. Alright. See, Chris is also entering here the post-race interview lounge. Let's start up with See if Chris, you're there? Still muted, probably finding towels or a quick pit stop on the in the toilet.
I would almost say that they're all getting in line for the same toilet, but
Okay, people saying it's only push to talk. Let's
that
see
is
if
strange.
That's indeed strange. And Tommy doesn't have a button set up for push to talk.
Yeah, but why can we talk and
That's interesting,
Is-
yeah. So probably it's on the side then.
I think Martijn Breuker is also, we can also hear him, right? Why does he not have push to talk?
Everyone should be able to speak.
Ah, so he's there. Tommy, you can hear us? Can you talk to us? That's the other question, of course.
I think we're getting some sounds from Tommy Schets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Yes, there we have him. Tommy Schets. Once again, first of all, congrats tonight on a clean, decent, and pleasant race, probably for your side.
Yeah, it was great. It was like, good qualifying, good race. Was kind of happy it was wet because if it was dry, it was a lot closer.
Yep.
But now I could just pull away. So yeah, great race for me.
So, how was your preparation for tonight? Was it like training on wet or? how was
Mostly dry, but I did make 2 wet setups, like one full wet setup and like one with changeable conditions. So that was ideal for tonight because I had a setup ready and the pressures were good because I had that set up. But I didn't really train. But if you have like the pressures correct and a little bit of tinkering on the setup, then it went great.
Yeah, perfect. Sean, you were saying already during the race with some little calculation from your side, Tommy really has to make some mistakes in 2 weeks' time to give this away, right?
Yeah, so I was wondering because you are at the moment you're leading clearly in the standings because you have this is a super endurance, you get 100 points, so you really have to mess up to lose the championship. But knowing that, how will you go into next race? I mean, it's the last race of the season. It's the Nürburgring. How are you going to make sure that it doesn't get to you, that you kind of like, I wouldn't say slack, but that you kind of take a more comfortable position because anything could still happen. And I think this race proved it.
The Nürburgring, like, I don't really like that track, so
we have heard that before, yeah.
yeah, I need to practice a lot, and it's still, at the Nürburgring, first corner, turn 1 is like a nightmare. So you can always crash there, especially on like the start. So it will be a bit nerve-wracking, I think. And I need to work out where I have to be if Jordi is first, what position I need to be in to still get the championship.
You have a lot of leeway there, so you can end pretty low to get the championship. So
Sean, it was like 57 points, right? You calculated real quickly.
So as we are, and I don't know if I have the scores correctly, but as we are right now, Schets would be at 818, and Saunders would be at 762. So that is your difference.
Okay.
And if you win the next race, you get 75 points. So yeah, even if Saunders wins next race, you would still have to perform really, really bad, or maybe a DNF, to have a decent chance for him to win it. So
there you have the facts, Tommy.
Yeah, I still do have to gather some points. I can't just
of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I think a lot of practice because I don't drive the track a lot, and Jordi was quick there last year, but now he's in the Nissan, so I don't know really how fast he's gonna be. So it's a bit of an unknown for me actually. Right. So just practice a lot.
We'll keep our things crossed for 2 weeks time then.
Okay, hey, thanks guys.
All right, thanks Tommy. Sean, let's move over to I think Dan Robertson then.
Robert said it is.
as we don't have full days here. So Dan, first of all, again, congrats on the points tonight. Let's see if you can talk to a lot of people having problems.
Yes.
Yeah, he does. A lot
Thank
of people
you,
having
yeah.
problems with this room. So suddenly, I don't know why, but yeah, congrats. How was the race evolving for you tonight? As we saw a lot of changing conditions tonight.
So we recently did a 24 hours at Kyalami in changeable conditions. I think we did about 15 hours in the wet throughout it. So I was actually, for once, very well prepared for changing conditions. Any other track and it would have been a disaster. But yeah, this was a good one.
How was your preparation towards tonight? Because you just spit it out. You were like driving a lot of super endurances, actually super endurances on this track. Was that a advantage for you tonight, or was it like more you being tired of driving this track again?
I love this track. I got my first podium in any league actually last week in the GT4s here, which was great.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoy racing here, so it's very fun. I'm not tired of it at all.
Oh, nice to hear. Sean, looking at then tonight here racing in this league, what's your thoughts about it?
I think it was a really nice and clean race to see. I think he held off Chris Downing pretty well because the gaps between those guys was really tight. So my hats off to you for doing that. I just wondered, like, with the rain coming in towards the end of the race, did it impact your strategy a lot, or?
Not massively. If anything, it would have saved me. If, I on my outlap onto the wets, I spun at the hairpin. I just got on the grass and lost a little bit of time. But I still came out ahead of Downing, I think, again. But then there was a spun Ferrari on the blind long right-hander that I caught. I just nudged them, and then that sent me off into a spin, and I took a whole bunch of damage. So for the last 10 laps or so, I had about 40 seconds of damage, and I was just holding on.
Wow, then it's really a success story then tonight, probably with the damage amount that you took on.
It's a major miracle. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, from my side again then congrats on this really nice result, and yeah, looking forward in 2 weeks' time to see you racing at the Nürburgring.
Oh, that's that's not my track.
Well, it's the second one.
Everybody says that.
Yeah, exactly. Nevertheless. Yeah, exactly.
It's a challenge to end the season on.
Definitely. Sean, shall we move over real quick to Chris, as he was voted in the chat to driver of the day due to his recovery from last to best.
Yo.
Chris, congrats on that achievement. I will say.
Cheers.
At least not a. I don't know what went through your head on the beginning of the race, but we were like, what happened? Could you take us through what happened?
I was just standing inside and I got hit on the back, so I ended up in the wall. I need to see the replay, but
was not an happy moment.
I think there was like a small incident with Ellis, right?
Yeah, he hit me on the back.
Yeah.
Shame.
I don't know why, because it was down a straight, so it shouldn't have happened really. But yeah, so it was a recovery run. So
yeah, absolutely. Changing weather conditions, any problem for your side tonight?
Not really. I didn't really like it when it was wet. It's all. I like it when it's starting to dry out. That's what I made up. I think I made up 20 odd seconds.
Yeah.
In the
roughly.
first pit stop. So I ended up being right behind Dan and Jamie, and then yeah, and then them two fighting. Jamie got in front, and Jamie got in front, and then I just couldn't get past Dan. I mean, he defended really well, and
yeah, you were really like keeping it clean. It looked like on the stream.
The Bentley's just not quick enough on the straight compared to that Audi, and you just keep pulling away. And then the corners, I was quicker. Obviously, the straight wasn't long enough to get enough down the inside. So that's good racing from Dan.
It was really great defending, and we have to say what we saw. We have to say it. It's fair enough.
But when I saw that rain come, I was quids in them. That's what made it.
Yep,
made
absolutely.
The place.
Sean, last question for Chris before we move over to I would say to Jordi Sanders to hear the last and the only verdict for tonight.
How were you able to drive so clean and so consistent behind Dan Robertson?
I don't know, just good left foot, I guess.
Because I think other drivers in your spot would have tried to go for any gap they could find and probably knock you both out of the track in that case. But like, you were really clean and consistent behind him. I really admired that, seeing that in the race. So I just wondered how you pulled that off, because
there's no point hitting him, is there? Because getting a place like that is, if I got a place because I hit him off, then it's not it's not fair, obviously, and second, it's not. I'd rather overtake him for doing a really good overtake rather than pushing him off, So, but yeah, it's just remembering to brake early. So when he brakes, you should have brake already. You shouldn't be braking at the same time. That's
fair enough.
Basically, you lose a bit of time, but otherwise you end up punting them off.
Yeah, so you need to anticipate more ahead.
One lap, he should know where he's braking. So
okay,
it's easy.
It should
be.
Well, congrats on the vote on driver of the day, Chris, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, cheers.
Perfect. Sean, last man standing that we need to interview tonight. It has to be Jordi Sanders.
We also have Martijn Breuker. I think he also made a nice comeback, but we can talk to Martijn after Jordi Sanders.
Yeah, I think it's both more based on strategy that's interesting tonight, and I think Martijn Breuker as well is coping in that same situation.
Yeah, so should we start with Jordi then?
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Jordi, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, I wonder?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, because before the race started, we were talking about like possibilities and what might happen, and we kind of said something crazy like it would be really strange if something happened to Jordi Sanders' car and he would just drop in the race, and then suddenly, I think in the opening lap, I don't know what happened, I think we missed it, but you went from like a P2 to a P14, something like that. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, the only chance I really had was on a dry race, because I had a lot of trouble with the Nissan. It was really slow in the rain here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went for a gamble when I saw it was dry in 3 minutes or something off the start. But I don't know, it just stayed wet for so long, and I was on the dry tire, so that didn't work out.
Okay.
That's basically it.
So it's basically like a miscalculation strategy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I've had races maybe before the patches where it just dries in like 2 laps or something. So I thought, well, let's go for a gamble. The car shit in the rain anyway. Let's gamble it. But it wasn't the right gamble. I'll tell you that.
I would almost say that we should get some ability to control the condition of the race instead of leave it to the game, because otherwise you might get these tricky situations.
Oh no! This is like fun. This is a lot more fun than just when you know what's going to happen. Especially for an endurance race like this. I mean, yeah. Otherwise, just I won't say a boring race, but just one race where you know what will happen, and this is just some interchangeable conditions. It's really fun to race in.
Yeah. And what's going through your head?
Even if you make the wrong choices.
I wonder what's going through your head at that moment where you see Tommy Schets take off, and you're like, "Hey, I'm at a point disadvantage right now. I need to finish as high as I can." What's going through your head? Like, how do you drive at that moment? Do you keep your head down and you're all focused, or do you crank up the aggression a bit more, or what do you do in those situations?
Oh, of course, I just want to come back, but after the second lap, I knew Tommy, well, if he didn't make any mistake, was going to win, and I was going to struggle, so I wasn't really thinking about the championship anymore, just trying to come back as far as possible. Just make it a good race and overtake people and have fun. So yeah, it was just Tommy was gone. He had a lot of pace in the rain, so
Loser.
After a couple laps, I knew he was championship was out of reach now.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
in the end you still put in the quickest lap time of the race, a 1:42.0. So
In the dry, the Nissan wasn't too bad. So
exactly. So in the dry you were absolutely flying, and then the rain came back, and it's like gambled all the chances back again for on the board for everybody in the top.
yeah,
But
that's quite a lot of fun though this race, but just not the right choice. But oh well.
unfortunately, yeah. Last question from my side. In 2 weeks' time, Nuremberg Ring, do you give yourself any chance of seeing the stability of the races Tommy put in this season?
What do you mean?
Well, like for the championship.
Does I still have a chance for the championship?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. He needs to maybe I can go to his house and cut his internet cable, but other than that, he just needs to finish the race. I saw the difference is like 57 points, and it's an endurance race. So
yeah,
if he just crawls across the finish line, should be fine.
But still, yeah, it's still the comment that Tommy made. He needs to still get points to.
Yeah, that's true. So that's when I win.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's interesting to see. All right. We'll wish you all the best of luck in 2 weeks, Jordi. If you,
thanks.
You will probably be there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect. Perfect.
Because we, on a side note, Martijn and me still need to get at Construction Championship with the Nissan.
Of course.
That's the sidekick there, and the side hustle.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that. There's also a constructor in this whole thingy.
Yeah, we're still first, so let's get at least one championship then.
Nice.
Okay, just to end up the stream, Sean, real quick. One last question for Martijn there.
Martijn, are you there?
Yes.
How did it go?
Well, before the race start, you can see a timer which predicts the weather for like 10 minutes ahead, and right about 40 seconds, and I had my wet setup all configured, and right before it went to 40 seconds or something, that little thingy switched, and it said that it would be dry within 3 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, the warm-up lap itself takes 3 minutes, so then it will be dry at the start of the race, so it won't take really long for a dry line to appear. So then I took a gamble and started on the dry tires, same as Jordi apparently.
What you explain now is exactly my thoughts. What happened in I was on the wets as well, and that thing switched, and I was like, okay, shit, it's going to be dry, and I switched as well.
And then it took like 30 or 40 minutes for it actually to be drier.
Yeah.
It stayed wet, and then the track went damp, and it still didn't dry. Maybe because it was cold and there was no sun as well, and it took a little bit longer. So what I was hoping for is that people would have to make a stop after 10-15 minutes and do another stop later in the race because they would run out of fuel. But because it stayed wet this long, people were able to basically follow their normal strategy and pit about halfway through the race. I was kind of happy to see it raining again in the end, and that pit stop was actually perfect because as soon as it started to rain, I came into the last couple of corners and I could slide right into the pit. I think I was the first to switch to wet.
Yep.
And then I ended up between a lot of cars that were still on dries, but they were a lap ahead because I had already pitted, and I had to let them by, but they weren't fast enough, so I had to wait for a couple laps behind them for them to go into the pit as well. But all in all, I think I started 10th. After this strategy fuck up, I still finished 10th, so I'm okay.
Well, that's a nice summary of this evening. Perfect. Any questions from you, Sean, anymore, or otherwise we'll wrap it up, I would say, after this really endurance stream as well.
I just want to thank everybody because it was a really exciting race. I hope the drivers had fun as much as we had commentating. I mean, I think this is one of the most exciting races in the season because there's so much at stake. So I just want to thank everybody because it was really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well from my side, thank you for tuning in tonight. And we all hope you will be there again in the last race in 2 weeks' time at the Nürburgring when we officially decide who will be the king of this season.